For my men here, my brutes, my strong dudes, my dudes, they're like, man, I ain't journaling. I ain't writing in no diary. I get it, but journaling is very important.
Race, give me the bass. I beat the case, so give me them 808s. I'm surfing on the vibe, we feeling so alive. Headed to the top, I'm in overdrive. Race, give me the bass. I beat the case, so give me them 808s.
Beautiful people, what's up? It's another episode of the Sailing Sales Show presented by your man with a plan, 100 grand, Coach Brandon. Yes, I am back and I'm happy to be back and I'm happy that you're here and I'm happy that you're viewing this, right? The Sailing Sales Show, what is it? It's a place where I'm going to educate you. I'm going to enlighten you. Hopefully you find me a little bit entertaining, but I'm also going to push you to the excellence I know you deserve, that I know that you need, and I know that you're looking for. And that all starts with what you actually write down. Yeah, you heard that right. You got to write stuff down. You got to journal. That's what I want to speak about today. I want to speak about journaling and the importance of that. So for my men here, my brutes, my strong dudes, my dudes, they're like, man, I ain't journaling. I ain't writing in no diary. I get it, but journaling is very important. I'll tell you why. In my career and in things that I've dreamed about and, you know, having my own businesses and kind of where I'm at now, journaling kind of helped me in a lot of ways. It kind of helped me tailor what I wanted to do, right? So every day that goes by, what I'll do is I'll live out that day. And then the start of the next day in that morning, I'll write about the previous day, or I'll journal at the end of the day. So I'll journal at night before I go to bed. That has been very important for me for a few reasons. One, it helped me really put all of my thoughts, all of my dreams, everything I want to do on paper. And what that did is it helped me crystallize it without having to remember it, because there are going to be some things you forget. Like, for instance, I make some music, you know, that song that you hear in my videos, that's actually me. A lot of people don't know that. So for people who write lyrics or who write poems and art and stuff like that, when these things come into your mind, if you don't write them down, you'll lose it, because sometimes the brain works so fast that if you don't write these things down, they kind of go away from you, right? If you have dreams and aspirations and thoughts come into your mind, I spoke about thoughts being power, right? You got to write that power down, because when you write it down, you can go back to it and remember it. And I understand now why people have diaries, right? Or why you need to put your thoughts on paper. A lot of the things that I've put on paper, I actually brought into fruition, or I actually made them happen. I know we believe in a culture of, and I don't want to take anything away from it, but I know we believe in a culture of like manifesting, like, oh, I'm going to manifest this and I'm just going to think it. I'm going to manifest it. And I'm going to just, you know, it's going to pop up like magic and it's just going to happen. Life don't work like that. I'll tell you why. If all of us can manifest a few $1 billion, we'd all be a billionaire. Doesn't quite work like that. But writing your thoughts down and journaling every single day will help you. I'll also share something a little, not dark, but a little sobering. When I was in corporate America, which I kind of still am, and certain things would happen to me, certain situations would happen. Someone would say something that was a little micro or macro aggressive, or someone would speak to me in a way that they shouldn't have spoken to me, or an event would happen and it would leave me with some questions. I would definitely write that down and journal about it. And you know what that helped me do? When I looked back on those journals and those entries, I realized, like, man, I shouldn't be here anymore. I'll tell you something. The last position I had, the last company I worked for, I used to write a lot of things that was happening to me. I used to write it down. And I used to go back and read it. And when I read it, I said, man, if all this is happening to you, you shouldn't be there no more. And the funny thing is, if I wouldn't have wrote those things down, I wouldn't have remembered it. But I start looking back on different events. I started looking back on when people would say something to me, or someone would try to trip me up, or I'll see kind of the mechanisms and the little sly ways they were working and trying to like kind of push me out the door or get rid of me. If I didn't write all that stuff down, I wouldn't have decided, you know what? This isn't a place for me anymore. This isn't somewhere I should be. So you're probably going through that too. I would say you need to journal. I don't care who you are. You need to journal. For my business owners out there, journaling really helps you write your dreams down. And not only that, you can look back on it and say, you know what? I'm going to make that happen. 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 Sometimes, and what I did too for myself is you got to put what's called a visionary plan down. So Sailing Sales, my company, has a visionary plan. I ain't going to spill the juice. I ain't going to spill the tea and tell you all the sauce, but it's about 13 points. If I would have never wrote that down because of how my brain works and how I am as a person, I would have lost some of that information. So every single day I try to journal. Sometimes I get on myself if I don't do it and I skip days, but I really, really want you to take hold and control of journaling. It's very, very important for you. You have to notice little trends in your life that happen, even if they're good. So it's not always bad. Sometimes really, really good things happen to you and you have to remember the good, because naturally human beings, we only really recognize the things we don't have, or the pain or the pressure, right? We tend to lean on, dang, this bad thing happened to me, or I don't have enough money, or my house isn't big enough, or my car isn't nice enough, or I don't look good enough, or I don't smell good enough, and I don't have a good enough relationship with my, family, or I don't have a good relationship with my romantic partner. But when good things happen, you have to write those things down too, because, and people who know me are going to laugh at this, I always run things through a cost benefit calculator. And I say, you know what are the pros? What are the cons? And I journal and look back on that. Okay. Journaling is very important. I know I said that a bunch of times, but it really is. You got to do it. If you're someone like me and your mind works in a lot of ways, sometimes mysterious ways, journaling helps you organize your thoughts and it helps you put everything down on paper so you will remember it. If you're in a situation where you're not happy, and you want to climb out of it, I went through that time. I went through a really dark period where things just weren't where I wanted them to be. What I would do is I would write every single day. And when I would look back on it, I can actually see myself climbing out of it. So I have days where they were super, super dark, like nothing was working out. I mean, if I can tell you some of this stuff, but I'm going to reserve it for my Patreon to give you a little bit of the sauce, but I would write these things down every single day. And eventually I would see myself climbing out of it little by little. And then when the blessing comes, when what you wanted actually comes to fruition and it manifests itself, you can actually look back and realize, like, dang, I used to be in a bad place. There's a quote. I don't know where it's from. I can't really pinpoint it, but it says, you're living the life you prayed for before. And you can kind of see how that crystallized if you write it down and you journal. I promise you, start journaling. Start today. I also want you to do this. If you like what you see, you like what you hear, and you want to hear more, or even if you don't, maybe you're a first time listener or a last time listener, but I want you to like this video. I want you to comment. I want you to share, and I do want you to subscribe. I'm just a vessel, right? I left my dream job so I can help you find yours. I think this information is important. And I think that for people out there who may be looking for some answers, I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of them. And I think the time is now. And I think it's our time to do it, because I know for a fact that it's my time. I know it's your time. It's our time. Let's not waste time. Let's make it count. Until next time. Peace.
Look, I am the voice. On top of the world, straight to the money, no other choice. If I were the world like Nas and Lauren, I would take back all the golden oil. I would take back all the beautiful blacks and bring them back on their home soil. I live life like a vacation. Took my bae on a vacation. I used to slave, now I'm the boss. I got myself off the plantation.